ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got beautiful life. I got a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you're feeling real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all, that's all I need. What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I've got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got beautiful life. I got a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Happiness, you know, it feels real good, y'all. For us to get it, then we gotta work hard, y'all. Every day. And don't pay attention to the things they say when they tell you that you can't make it, but you can if you try, y'all. When life is rough, I know sometimes you wanna cry, y'all. Just keep the faith and don't question. Ain't no need of stressing. Your life is still a blessing. It's not about the cars, the money, or the clothes. You can believe these things will only come and go, but when you're getting real love from everyone you meet, it's a blessing, y'all. It's magic, y'all. What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I've got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. We got beautiful life. I got a beautiful life. Beautiful life. And now we all been blessed to be here, so it ain't no need for stress. We don't worry about the things that we can't control. We just pray and hope for the best. You don't need a whole lot of money. You don't need no fancy car. You ain't gotta be famous or a movie star. Just be happy with who you are. You got some food on the table and a place to live, and that's a beautiful life. You got somebody you can love, family and some kids, and that's a beautiful life. You got money in your pocket just to pay your bills, and that's a beautiful life. Just to make it through the struggle and you still be here. Now that's a beautiful life.
Okay, wind me up. DC, stand up. The Godfather, I got you. You spoiling me now. 6 years later, still the talk of the town. I put myself on, and then I put my team on too. Take on my BET, I spilled my drink on hold. Still I believe that, and I mean that, there will be no flow. If you ain't sing that tune, we see police run Joe. You put DC on first, I put us all on next. And now it's all on me to keep your name on deck. Okay, the Godfather, gotta know that it's not a problem. Been in the pocket like hot tires of Saviata. Praying for a better manana. I hope I'm making you proud. I'ma rep you in honor. Irrefutable spirit. How your music get nearest. When I got that award, it felt like you got this shit with me. Ha. Life's good, still it's getting better. Still pray for Low and Benny. Tell KK hold her head up. A lot have done it, but not too many that done it better. Forget a record for all you done, you deserve a medal. A toast, a two for jump, EU for essence, for back, NEG, UCB, TCB, hold DC, rest in peace, this for you.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for?
Yeah.
Beautiful life. Beautiful life. Beautiful life.
Greatest to ever do it.
A beautiful life.
The best to ever do
Beautiful
it.
life.
Amen.
Beautiful life.
Hey y'all, it's Swangin Webster, and today I have my most absolute favorite person growing up. I used to watch her all the time. Miss Victoria Rowell is joining me today on the We Be Swangin Show. And I'm not going to talk a lot because I have a lot of questions and there's a lot of information I want to get out there. But today is December the 8th. And if you watch this movie on Sunday, you were as amazed as I was. Marry Us for Christmas was such a phenomenal movie, Victoria. And I have to tell you, I'm not a television watcher, but I made sure I watched this movie because it was like just reading what it was going to be about. I was like, oh no, I have to watch it. And then meeting you last week, I was like, oh no, it is such a done deal. I need to make sure I watch this. So on Sunday night, I was in front of that television. And when I tell you, I was laughing hysterically because we all have people like that in our family.
Right. Exactly. Well, first of all, I'm so happy to be on the show. It was such a delight to meet you. And I have to say, at such an auspicious writer's dinner, the author's dinner group in Washington, D.C., to see your fellow sister in the room, doing her thing as a journalist, as a writer. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The movie, and thank you for watching me all these years. You make up a very powerful group of women that has kept me out in the forefront, and I want to say thank you to you and all of your listeners that have supported me over the years as well. That said, Marry Us to Christmas, which it premiered last night on Up TV, which was formerly the Gospel Channel, but is now Up TV. I laughed too. I was so happy that they showed the 2013 first movie, Marry Me for Christmas, and then they showed Marry Us for Christmas, and then they showed Marry Me for Christmas again. Well, the fact of the matter is, our last year's Christmas movie, I emphasize the word me, Marry Me for Christmas, was the best weekend in the history of Up TV. So hence we got the sequel. I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and so let me ask you about that, because since it was so highly rated last year, was there a plan last year to make a sequel to it?
I'm not privy to when those discussions started happening, but I would assume, having been in the industry for 30 plus years, that you kind of have to get it right fairly early.
Right.
And then what cast is available so that you know you have a movie to make. So I think, given when you do those kinds of numbers, it's not unlike a feature film. When you know you've got that audience and they love that particular product, you want to hold on to that audience share.
Yes.
And not only for that movie, but much the advertising that's going on of other programming. They want to build tension, so that audience that we pulled in with Marry Me for Christmas, and now the numbers will be revealed tomorrow in terms of if we exceeded the numbers, the ratings we got last year. But either way, strong audience. They want that audience to watch the other programming in January. So, Up TV has series now. I would love nothing more than to see certainly a third movie, but a series. I mean, I could ask you that question. Would you tune in to see the Chandler women and our Marcy, weekly?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And you know why? Because on television, there is not a lot of African Americans represented. And as you know, the dinner we were at last week, there wasn't a lot of us represented in the room either. But that's why I get out and do so much. And I love how you keep that in the forefront, because real brief, I want to talk about when you were on Young and the Restless and how there was no black executive producers of that show, a show that has been on for over 40 years. And the African Americans was their biggest fan base, and yet we weren't represented on that show.
Behind the camera, you're absolutely right. Very limited. I mean, when I say limited, I mean there was one, then, and not all at once, trust. one black hairstylist, and then there was I campaigned for a black stylist that knew what an oven and irons were, and people were looking at me like, "What's an oven?"
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So we got past that hurdle, but then I asked, since I was pitching anyway, I campaigned for us for in writing, in directing, producing, costume design. To my knowledge, there still is not a single African American costume designer hired on The Young and the Restless or The Bold and the Beautiful. And that's probably true throughout the industry. So it has a lot to be desired in terms of diversity behind the camera when the audience is overwhelmingly African American, and not only African American. Mind you, The Young and the Restless is exported to 100 countries by Sony distribution. Black people are everywhere. And that the show is distributed to Africa, to India, it shows twice a day in the Caribbean. Our black and brown people are watching us from Greece to France. So don't be fooled that, it's showing in Europe. No, we're in Europe.
Right.
We're supported. If I told you how many black French people come up to me, either they were born in France or from other French-speaking countries around the globe. Can I tell you I was in Turkey and I was rushed by people from Turkey and Romania. 250,000 people watch Young and the Restless in Romania.
Wow.
So I don't buy clothes and cars and bling. I like to invest in business travel so that I commune with my audience. I see for myself, I witness the audience that I helped build. Therefore, expect reciprocity, economic reciprocity, behind the camera or in the boardroom or in the office. So I'm very strong on that. I will perform. I know my lines 3 different ways. If you tell me you don't have it in the budget with the costume, I'll bring it myself.
Okay. Well, okay.
But if you can't do my hair and my makeup, I will have it done.
Right.
But I also desire and demand that there be equitable, diverse hiring pools behind the camera.
Right. And that's
I'm pulling in an audience for you, and it's not the audience. I want to make this distinction.
Okay.
It's not, they don't care that Grandma Jones is watching on her little TV with the tin foil on her antenna on Money Row, Back Road, Mississippi. I don't care about that.
Right.
They care Grandma Jones is braiding her grandchild's hair, cornrowing that hair, and that child is watching those commercials with her.
Right.
And so they have generational buyers in the billions in the black community buying the advertised products, because soap operas were designed first on radio to sell what? Soap.
Exactly. And so when you have, because you're such a strong supporter of getting African Americans behind the camera, have you found that there's backlash for that?
Am I on the Young and the Restless?
No, and that is the day that I actually stopped watching it. Regardless on whether your husband stayed on there or not, your TV husband. I stopped watching it because I was like, you represented real African American, a real African American woman who came from not so great, beginnings, but made herself into this corporate powerhouse. And then I was like, what? I literally remember the day that I turned on the television and saw you falling. And I'm like, what?
And so one doesn't get to that place. One doesn't work on a show for 14 years because she's not doing her job.
Right.
One works on a show for that period of time. One works, and let's just call the show a corporation, because television is a corporation. let's be clear. I work for a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Sumner Redstone owns CBS. Sumner Redstone and Sherry Redstone, they own National Amusements in Massachusetts.
Okay.
National Amusements. Now, let's all get out our pencils and our paper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking everyone to school. National Amusements is owned by Sumner and Sherry Redstone.
Mm-hmm.
The Redstones, get your pencil ready.
Okay.
The Redstones owned CBS Corporation.
Ah.
Owned Showtime. The Redstones own Black Entertainment Television. That would be BET. So when people say, well, Vicki, didn't you bring your original soap opera to BET? Of course I did, but CBS isn't hiring anything I do.
Right.
So Sumner Redstone owns, let's just go through the list. Sumner Redstone owns, through National Amusement, CBS Corporation, Showtime, BET, Paramount Pictures, Simon & Schuster.
Wow.
And look at what, and CBS filmed. And if people say, oh, well, why didn't you go to Oprah and ask them? People have to read.
Right.
CBS Corporation owned King World.
Right.
You have to understand that Sony owns 51% of The Young and the Restless.
Mm-hmm.
They are the distributor. Sony's in business with OWN. So you see, you have to know the politics. You have to know the cross-pollination of the corporations. And so it was never lost on me,
Mm-hmm.
the business aspects, what it might cost. But I was born in a time pre-civil rights, during a time when I was studying classical ballet. I watched my ballet school burn to the ground due to race.
Wow.
We were given as black children free ballet classes in Cambridge, Massachusetts. That's
Mm-hmm.
a liberal state in the United States,
Right.
supposedly. But I watched my ballet school burn to the ground. If we look at Ferguson today, oh, much has not changed.
Right. And I was going to ask you, and I'm not I don't really speak a whole lot about what's going on, but what's going on now in New York and in Ferguson really hits home because I have 3, young sons, African American sons, who I don't even know how to tell them to protect themselves anymore. So are you and I get involved in, issues, and I do speak up about it. So are you finding yourself speaking out more, about these issues? Not just being a celebrity throwing your name in the pool,
No. Whoa. I lived a lot of life, Senator. I respect what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a real concern. I have 2 children. I have a son. I have a black son living in New York going to college.
Okay.
And as you know, we wake up every day as a mother.
Right.
I want both of my children to be safe. But I'm especially concerned about my black son in America. And I can't say I'm more involved. I've always been involved,
Mm-hmm.
Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was born in a state, I was born in one of 16 states where it was against the law to foster or adopt a black child.
Wow.
I was born to a woman where her family said this will not be, and I was placed immediately into an orphanage.
Wow.
I was born at a time in this nation where the racism was prevalent in the North and in the South. So my life has always been more
Mm-hmm.
and extra
Mm-hmm.
in the areas of civil rights. I've always seen myself as an advocate by virtue of my choice in art education, daring to pursue a classical arts education in classical ballet, ending up at American Ballet Theater School under full scholarship, joining American Ballet Theater too, but they would not give me the contract
Mm-hmm.
to join the main company. That's why I'm so very proud of Misty Copeland, the first African American dancer who will be in the principal role in 75 years.
Wow.
Ballet Theater. I will be in that audience December 14th. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will.
Oh, and you know what? If I could be there, I'd be there too, because I'm always so proud to see us, because, you know, they always want to show us the negative. You know, they are quick to show the negative, but you never hear about the positive. And that's why I so look up to you, because you will show us full circle. You're showing us, you know, I remember when you first came out with your novel, The Diary of a Soap Opera Diva. I was all over that website because I was like, oh my gosh, you know.
It's Secrets of a Soap Opera Diva, and the other one is titled The Young and the Ruthless. But before we get off of Misty, I just want to say this, that this is an African-American, in my opinion, prima ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they haven't given her the title yet. But she's performed in many principal roles, including Firebird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any white dancer that has done as much advocacy for classical ballet, black or white,
Mm-hmm.
who has revolutionized the classical art form, who mentors, who has also revolutionized the way advertising looks at ballet dancers. I mean, she's got the Aura commercial, she's got a clothing line, she's got a shoe endorsement, she's got a show that's been greenlit, she's got a book that's out. I mean, what does she have to do? Do 32 footsies on her head?
Right. And it's funny because she's done all that, and yet there's still no recognition for her.
Well, she's a soloist. But everyone knows that this dancer is a prima ballerina.
Right.
I mean, why is she not a prima ballerina? American Ballet Theater.
Right.
Kevin McKinney, the artistic director.
So, yeah, we need that to change, and I know that you're listening. I know someone is listening, because I'm seen and heard in over 26 countries, and I have over 500,000 viewers. So I know someone out there can make this happen, and we want it to happen for this young lady, because she is doing her thing.
We tweeted about yesterday. In our lifetime, we the people wish to see dancer extraordinaire. I'm not even calling her a soloist. She's labeled as a soloist, but dancer extraordinaire. Misty Coleman. She performed for the president, the commander-in-chief, and the first lady last night at the Kennedy Center Awards in tribute to Patricia McBride. I mean, come on.
Right.
And quite frankly, let's just roll it back, shall we? Let's just dial it back. How many black people do you think have ever been on the American Ballet Theater Board of Directors?
Oh my gosh. Probably none.
No, one, Susan Fairfield.
Okay.
But one is not enough.
No, not at all.
Because we know in that boardroom there are heart and heart, there are people, and now let me just take it out of American Ballet Theater's boardroom, and let's just talk the board and the climate we're looking at right now in the nation. These companies, these corporations, these boards of directors that pat themselves on the back with their one black board member, the token black board member, the token black diversity director that keeps getting the promotion but keeps the door shut.
Right.
Because those instructions. And same goes for, that has to change. We need to see multiple people of color and African Americans, quite frankly, especially in television, when African Americans watch 7.5 hours of television. That is well documented by UCLA. The Ralph J. Bunch 2014 report, for instance. But there are others. Nielsen, if you dig,
right.
You want to read. 7.5 hours of television. You mean to tell me African Americans sitting in front of the TV for 7.5 hours don't go out and buy the products that are advertised? Of course they do.
Of course.
So yesterday, I put out a call to action while we hope for justice, and I will use daytime television as an example,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where African Americans are the over-indexed audience. Stop buying Tide and buy Arm & Hammer. Stop buying Pampers and buy Huggies. Stop buying Crest and buy Colgate.
Right.
Stop buying Pantene because my black is not beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It seems in the boardroom, my black is not beautiful. To be a CBS Senior VP of Daytime, my black is not beautiful. To be a Young and the Restless executive producer, head writer, director, my black is not beautiful.
Right.
So if my black is not beautiful behind the camera, then my black is beautiful, shall not be beautiful in buying your product. So if people can't lay down in the street, and they cannot lay down in the bank, they cannot lay down in the classroom, then you can lay down your purse and your wallet.
And with that, I'm going to let my viewers marinate on that. And you heard it here first, people. Make sure that your black is beautiful while you supporting those that support us. Stop giving your dollars to the people that have no kind of investment in you. Our dollars matter, and our dollars are way more stronger than we think that they are. So we need to get out there, and we need to make sure that we stand strong and we stand tall. And I want to thank you, Victoria, for joining me today. It has been a pleasure. And I hope that when you come to DC again, that you know, that we hook up again, because I love the message that you have, and I would love to sit down and talk even longer with you about your career and about everything that's coming up. And people, look at Up TV. It has to be back in rotation. Marry Us for Christmas, Marry Me for Christmas. So those two movies, hysterically funny. We all know people like this, and you need to support this great venture that Victoria is in, and she has a great cast with her.
Encourage your listeners to follow me on Twitter at Victoria Rowell.
Yes, follow her on Twitter, everybody. All of my followers at Victoria Rowell. You will see the We Be Swangin' show tweeting with her, and me be swangin' tweeting with her. So make sure you follow her. And thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I am so humbly blessed to have met you, and I will continue to follow you. I'll be your unofficial Twitter stalker, but I won't do anything to you except for just watch your shows and promote out, you know, so that they reach number one and continue to be into everyone's psyche that this is a...
By the way, just before we close, I was in the peaceful protest.
Yes.
I was in the peaceful protest on Saturday here in Hollywood. So, you know, get involved. Not everyone can march, but if you can't march, lay down the wallet, lay down the purse. Don't overbuy during this holiday season. Let's make an impact with our wallet and our purse as well.
Thank you. Thank you. It was such a joy talking to you. Okay. And so, as you could hear, I did that interview on Monday, and I wanted to bring it to you all. It was just an honor to have her on the phone with me. We were actually on the phone for over an hour and a half, because when I tell you that she called me, and I was at my other job, my other job, and I was there, and I was like, what? She's calling me. I can't believe it. So, of course, you didn't get the boot camp today, because I knew I wanted that interview to be full and uncut. But let me just tell you, the boots that I have, they are Christmas boots, because I know Santa is coming. So next week, y'all need to be at your computers at 4 o'clock sharp, because the boots I'm going to hit you with next week, this little girl has been very good, and so I know Santa is going to bring me something. Right after this commercial break, I have Dana King, another one of my author friends, on the line. But first, I have a commercial talking about another great Christmas idea. So stay tuned. Cheryl drained the bottle of wine and laid back on the sofa. With her eyes closed, she wondered how he would feel between her legs. How would he kiss her? She caught herself smiling, but she was also embarrassed. She was thinking of a man she had only met 3 weeks earlier, and a man that was not her husband. Kevin's voice interrupted her moment, and she sucked in a deep breath and prepared herself for another argument. Check out Let Me Just Say This by B. Swangin Webster, an urban drama novel that will make you burn your dinner and lose sleep. Available on Kindle, iBook, Nooks, and paperback. A great Christmas gift for the reader in your life.
And so you have it. You can pick up one of my novels or one of the novels from Intrigue Publishing. Or if you know some readers that love mysteries, you should pick up Dana King's novels, because Dana, how many books do you have out right now?
I've got 5 out. Five out right now, actually.
Okay.
The reason I'm just one just came out a couple of days ago, and I had to go back and count.
I was getting ready to say, because you just had one that came out on the 8th.
Yes.
And what is the title of that novel?
The title of that one is called "The Stuff That Dreams Are Made Of."
Okay.
And it's my homage to the Maltese Falcon. The story's about a ham actor who has what he claims is the actual Maltese Falcon from the movie, and he has a one-man show. My detective is hired to be his bodyguard because he claims he's getting death threats.
Oh, okay. So, how long have you been writing mysteries?
I started actually writing mysteries as little one-off short stories for my friends probably 20 years or more ago.
And when did you decide that is what you wanted to do? Did you always know you wanted to write, or was that something that 20 years ago you were just, bored, or, you needed a hobby and you decided I can write?
That's closer to the truth. I'm all my education is as a musician, and I was a trumpet player until I was in my late 30s. That career wasn't working out. I was married. We had a daughter. I had to find something that would actually pay the bills, but I still needed I needed a creative outlet. And I came across this idea for a story because a lot of my friends were doing trumpet auditions for orchestras at the time, and there was always some complaint that, well, we paid all this money to go out for the audition, and they knew who they wanted before they got there. So I just, as a lark, wrote a story about a private detective who was investigating what was supposed to be a rigged symphony audition, and I put all my friends in the story. And that was so well received. I wrote another story about the place I was working at the time, and those got so well received, I thought about actually maybe seeing if other people might want to read them, and that's how I got started.
And so is that how you came up with, is Nick Forte, is that the character that you came up with?
Yep, that's exactly him. It's still the same guy. Because the first story was about trumpet players, I was looking for a name for him, and forte is the musical term for loud, but literally it's the Italian word for strong.
Okay.
And I thought, well, there's a good name for a detective. He's strong. And for Nick, I just wanted a short name that had some hard consonant sounds in it. So Nick seemed to go well.
Oh, okay. See, now you took way more thought into a name. I just pull out a name that I can remember. I'm not even going to lie. It's like, okay, what can I remember? And I think, how I get my names? I get them from the students at my school, because the ones that I run into a lot are the ones that end up as a character in the book. So, yes, I do know some Kevin's people. So if you've been reading the book and you see how Kevin is a jackass, yeah, because I know some of the kids in my building are, though, that has that
Yep.
quality. So where do you come up with, you have a book that just came out about the Maltese Falcon. So where do you get your story ideas?
That one actually started out, the idea I had originally was I wanted to write a book about how foolish I thought the memorabilia industry was. To take something that was just a lead statue that was used as a movie prop. And I'd seen an article someplace where the actual bird had actually sold somewhere for several $100,000, which just struck me as ludicrous. People pay $1 million for a baseball card. So what began as a story that was supposed to kind of make fun of the memorabilia industry, by the time I got through the first draft, I realized, well, it had the Maltese Falcon in it. There was some memorabilia involved, but it really turned into an entirely different story, basically about parent and child relationships. So I ran with that.
Oh, okay. So when you came up with your first novel, you said that you used your friends. Did your friends know that you were going to use them, and did they want royalties?
Well, the story I used my friends in was only distributed to them.
Oh.
I printed up 10 or 12 copies, and they all got one. They all liked it enough that I'll be happy to admit that the police detective in the Nick Forte stories is a good friend of mine. I used him as the cop in the original story, and he got a kick out of it. So just with a minor change to his name, anytime I think of Detective Sonny Eng, I'm thinking of my friend Ben Wynn.
Oh wow. Okay. So do you let him be your first reader? Is he reading the novels as you're writing them to say, "Nah, I wouldn't do that," or "Yeah, I do that," or "Make me do this"?
Nope. Basically, he gets his name, and the character looks like him, has some of his personal characteristics. But then I need him to be a cop, and my buddy Ben's a trumpet player. The person who gets my first reading is my wife. She every time I finish a chapter, I read it to her, and she kind of points out, well, we didn't know that before, or she didn't think the chapter works, and she's done very well for me as a first.
Oh wow. Okay. So do you have a core group besides your wife of beta readers that you, after you finish the entire manuscript, that you give it to them to read it, critique it, redline it, and then you take it back? Or is your wife the first and middle and last reader?
She's pretty much it. I do have a writers group in Virginia that I stop by to see probably 6 or 8 times a year, and I'll take in individual chapters I'm having trouble with. And the godfather of mob fiction, Charlie Stella, took a liking to me, and he's read a couple of drafts of my books and made a few comments. But generally speaking, I write the whole thing with pretty much her input.
Okay. Well, and I had also seen that you were up for a couple of, pretty big awards. I know you were up for the Seamus, and then you were recently, because I read your blog, you were recently up for another award. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the Seamus was the one I was up for. The Private Eye Writers of America, unlike most organizations of its time, they actually have a special award for independently produced fiction. Most places, Mystery Writers of America, most of the other organizations that give awards, they want you to be published by a traditional publisher before they'll consider it for an award. But PWA does not. So just as a lark, my first published book, Grind Joint, was well received by the critics. It got a favorable review by Woody Hote in the LA Review of Books. So just as a lark one day, shortly after I joined PWA, I just sent a copy of A Small Sacrifice in just to see, it was kind of like buying a lottery ticket. You don't really figure you're going to win, but you got to buy the ticket. And sure enough, about 6 weeks later, I got word back that I'd been nominated, and that was great fun. I got to go to the banquet and meet a bunch of other PI writers. I didn't win, but you always hear people like on the Academy Awards say, well, being nominated is the real honor. And yeah, I think so, because what was really nice was I had, and A Small Sacrifice, it was a good example. I had an agent who tried to sell that book, and she tried to sell it for over a year, and none of the publishers in New York wanted it for whatever reason. Nobody ever said it wasn't well written, but they didn't think they could make money off it. They didn't think it was in a proper niche, whatever it might be. And to have the PWA nominated for an award meant a great deal to me, because it showed me it was a good book. Mm-hmm. And the reason that it didn't sell had nothing to do with the quality of the writing. It was just timing in the market. So that was a big deal to me to keep me going.
Well, and and a lot of times people say, yes, the nomination is what they need. And I'm not going to lie. If I ever get nominated for something, it could be nominated for Best Walk in Stiletto Heels. I don't care what it is. I'm going to be happy. But let me tell you something. If you pan the camera to me and I didn't win, my face might be a little salty. I might be a little salty about it, depending on who's in the category. Now, if I'm in the category with, I don't know, somebody that wears more fabulous shoes than me, which I doubt you will ever find. But if you do, if they win, okay, I will smile politely for the camera. And this is the look. And I don't even know if you can see if you're on your computer right now, but if I have to be in an award ceremony and I don't win and I have to smile, this is the smile you're going to see. That's going to be it. And then I'm going to be like, oh, isn't that nice? Yay for you. But don't try to hug me afterwards, and don't say my name. Okay, say my name up on stage so other people can, say, oh, wow, that's B. Swangin. That's B. Swangin. I didn't know. She interviewed Victoria Rowell and met Robert De Niro, who she had no clue who was. But, hey, that's her. So I think for me, I met you probably about a year ago, maybe.
It was probably about then, yeah.
Yeah, about a year ago. And at first, I was very intimidated because I had heard such great stories about you, about how great of an author you were. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to be like this. You know, I'm going to be nervous, but I got to make sure I have on fabulous shoes. So I made sure that I had on some great shoes, just in case you didn't like me, at least you like my shoes. See, that's my end. That's how I get people hooked. I get them to look at the shoes first. Hence, why at the beginning of the show there's always a boot cam or a shoe cam, but it's boot season. So what are 3 things that we should know about you that we're not going to find in your blog?
Oh, wow. People who read the blog long enough will probably find out pretty much everything sooner or later. I guess the things that most people don't know about me, or sometimes surprised when they find out, is that I mentioned I was a musician. I have a master's degree in trumpet performance from the New Conservatory.
Wait. You can earn a master's degree for playing the trumpet?
Oh, yeah. You can earn a doctor's degree for it.
What? I could be a doctor? I mean, okay, first of all, I used to play clarinet. So do they hand those out for people that used to play clarinet as well?
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, you know what? See, somebody just told me it wasn't easy to get it. But, hey, I got cute shoes and I play the clarinet. How easy could that be for me? I mean, I walk in and I have shoes on. So, you know, I'm earning an A right there because I got on cute shoes and I'm playing the clarinet. I mean, let's be clear. It's a clarinet. So, see, now I feel like I need to go back to college for a musical degree. I think I do. I think I need to. I haven't blown a clarinet in quite some time, but you know, hey, I've been practicing on other things, so it can't be that hard, right?
That's right.
So, okay, so you have a musical degree in trumpet, and what are 2 more things?
Before I went to graduate school, I spent 3 years in the Army as a trumpet player.
Wait.
Yes.
So you were
the Army has trumpet players too.
I mean, so were you in the band? You were in the band?
Yep.
You signed up.
I was in the band at Fort McPherson, Georgia.
Oh, okay. So all the people down in Fort McPherson, Georgia, hey, there's one of your. Wait a minute. Don't you have to do 4 years in the military?
No, they may now. When I enlisted back in 1980, it was 3 years of active duty and 3 years of reserves.
Really? So you did 3 of active and 3 reserves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so you're a veteran.
Well, and the story I like to tell about being in the Army was I was in from 1980 to 1983, which is during the Cold War. I was stationed in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I like to tell folks that during my entire 3 years, no Soviet military musical unit ever got as far as Savannah. I'm very proud of that. I take full credit for it.
Good. See, so now I know. I know that you are responsible for that. So if you could do one thing, in your writing career, what would that be?
That's a good question.
I know.
I guess what would be fun, when Grind Joint came out a little over a year ago, I was contacted by a TV producer who was interested in possibly making a TV series out of the characters in that series. Mm-hmm. And I really haven't thought about it before, and nothing came from it, as usually nothing does come from stuff like that. But that was the first time it got me thinking it might be kind of nice someday to see, to actually see one of my books, if I describe that properly. I know what they look like in my head.
Right.
But it might be kind of fun one day to help to work on a screenplay, to have it get up there, see what somebody else's vision of what I'd written looked like. That would be fun. Okay,
so in that regard, if you could have now it's going to be 2-part, one a television show or one of a motion picture, who would play Nick Forte in both? And they don't have to be the same, the same person.
It's funny because my wife and I have talked about this for years, and Nick Forte changes because he's been around so long. The actors who would play him wind up getting too old to be him anymore.
Okay.
But if I had to pick right now, I think John Hamm would be the guy I would pick to be Forte.
Okay. For television or for both?
Probably for both.
Okay. Well, you know what? He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah. I'm thinking it would either be him or another guy I think would do a real nice job would be Colin Farrell.
Really? Okay. See, now I know Colin Farrell. See, I don't know many actors, but I know him. I don't know. Maybe I'm just selective on who I remember. So if when you give up, your 9 to 5 job, when you give that up, do you plan on writing all the time? Become a full-time writer?
I'll be honest. I doubt I will be giving up my 9 to 5 job until I retire.
Okay. And how long is that?
I mean, I've got right now. It looks like about 9 more years. I'll be able to collect the Social Security.
Okay, well, see, I'm ready to collect it now. I feel old as dirt sometimes, so they should let you know what, they should allow you that when you start to feel old, that they should allow you to collect Social Security. I think that should be the rule. I think I need to run for Congress, and that will be my platform. When you start to feel old, you get to collect your money. Because hey, you never know how much longer you have.
I have a sneaking suspicion what would happen if we walked up to them and said, "I feel old enough to collect," and the answer would be, "Okay, well, here's how much we feel like paying you."
I know, right? And it'd be like $1.27. I think I'll start to feel a little younger at that moment. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. What do you have coming up so that people can go and check you out?
Let's see. Right now, I know that as you know, I'm part of the Meet Mr. Right group of writers. We're going to be in Gaithersburg on December 16th at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Senior Center there, talking about writing. And if anybody wants to buy a book, we certainly won't deny you the pleasure. I have blog posts to come up every Monday and Thursday, stuff about my writing, stuff about other writers, reviews, just generic things about writing that show up there. And by the first of the year, I hope to have a website up where folks will be able to go and get information on all the books I have and all the projects I have and all the short stories and flash fiction I've written over the years.
Okay, so give us the web address of your blog.
The blog address is called, it's at danaking.blogspot.com, and the name of the blog is One Bite at a Time.
Okay, so I wanted to make sure you all check him out. If you're in the Gaithersburg area, make sure you come and check him out. I will be tweeting about it so that you can get the particulars, because he will be joined by Larry Matthews, D.B. Corey, and Austin Camacho, and of course Dana King. So they will be talking all about their writing. You said December
16th.
December the 16th at 10 a.m. in Gaithersburg. So I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Always a pleasure, Sandra. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So as you can see, it was a very, very busy day for me. I've had a whirlwind of a last couple of weeks. I met Robert De Niro last Tuesday at an author's dinner. And then on Friday, I was in New York City, and I was with Jeff Markowitz. He released his novel, Death in White Diamonds. So I was there to help him celebrate that. And then I was in West Virginia on Saturday, and I got to be the diva. I felt like a diva that entire weekend. The best news ever came from Victoria, because after we did our interview, she called me back. And let me just tell you, people, to have somebody like Victoria call you and say, "Hey, Miss Fancy Boots," because that's what she calls me. "Hey, Fancy Boots, I just wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind coming out to California." Now, here's what I told her. She asked me, what would it take for me to come out to California? And well, she said, what would it take for me be swinging, to come out there to her? And I said, a chicken box and a bus ticket. So she said, well, I'm in LA. And I said, okay, a plane ticket and a Lunchable. Because, hey, I don't want to be the cause of, I don't want to seem like I'm too divified to get anywhere. So I will take the cheapest route possible. If Amtrak will go there, I am on it. I will, bone up on the Dramamine, because I suffer with motion sickness so horribly bad, but that's okay, because by the time I get there, I will be drowsy and drunk, but either way, I will be there. So the big news is that I am going to start doing a project with Miss Victoria Rowell. Okay, people, yes. Boom, boom, shake the room, people. Now, I had a bottle of wine, but I left it in the car. As you see, I didn't have my wine with me. But trust me, I have been drinking heavily since I found, but not heavily like a bad thing, heavily like a good thing, because, hell, I'm going to be doing something with Victoria. Like how I call her, Victoria. Okay? And me, Fancy Boots, from DC. Me and her. Me and Miss Fly Diva herself. Me and Drusilla Winters from Young and the Restless. Me and the soap opera Diva. Me and her. Can you see how excited? I mean, do you feel how excited I am, people? I can barely even sit in this chair because I'm so excited. So yes, I have never done this before, and I will probably never do it again. But the people at Matter Woman Middle School, yes, I'm putting it out there just like that. I'm putting it out there. Just know that this person right here, I am going to be leaving you very soon. So be prepared. You won't see the Diva. You won't see the shoes, but you'll see it on my show every week. That's what you'll see. You'll see it on my show, and you will see me live with Miss Victoria. Okay? So we're working out details now. So, if you think that I don't have a big head, I could probably get a big head, but my forehead is big enough right now. I don't need it to be no bigger. My head might catch up to it, but I don't need, here, I had a post on Facebook that everybody wanted to know what I was talking about. Here's the thing. When you tell me that you don't understand what's happening, why all this is happening for me, it is happening for me because I am who I am. And it's not to be boastful. It's just because this is the type of person I am. The way you see me right here is the way that you will see me at 7 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is just who I am. That's just this is how I roll, like my grandbaby would say. That's how you roll, Nina. And so because I roll this way, this is why everything is good that's happening to me. I mean, the show is phenomenally successful. Traveling has now become like second nature to me, and I always now have a piece of luggage packed because I never know where I'm going to be. And the people that I have surrounded myself with are priceless. The people from the bottom line that I hang out with and have a couple of drinks on the weekend, the couriers that I cannot mention by name, but they also know who they are because I am so blessed to be a part of your group. And OD, I am so proud to know him. I'm so proud of Carmen. I'm so glad that Paula, my girlfriend Paula from New York, hopefully the link is working for you today. I will be seeing her once a month now, traveling to New York for one weekend out of every month because, I think New York is where I should be hanging out, making friends, networking, and just continuing on the path that was chosen for me. I heard something today, and I firmly believe it, that whenever you are going through something, just look at it as a detour to tell you that you have to go through it to get to it. So if you are feeling like something is not working for you, just know that that is the way that the universe is working to tell you. You need to find a different path, but don't change your course of action. Just change the way that you get there. Just like today, 395 was shut down. I had to find another way. Anybody that knows me knows I am directionally challenged, and I will not listen to a GPS because I feel that I know, even though I will always get lost. Today, I decided to listen to the GPS. Didn't know where I was going, didn't know how I ended up here, but it actually brought me here much quicker because I listened to it. So all you need to do, settle down, stop, take a breath, and listen. Because when you listen, that is when you find your purpose and find where you are supposed to be. So in all of this, what am I telling you? I am telling you that no matter what your dream is, no matter what it is that you want to do in your future, you have to be able to go out there and get it. Don't be scared to go get it. You might not have a way to go get it, but make a way. Make friends with people that can help you along in your journey, but make sure you also know those people that really don't want to see you succeed on that journey, because you're going to need them too, because they're going to be the one that keep you grounded. They're going to be the one that they're going to whisper something in your ear. Yeah, you may listen to it, but just remember, the path that is chosen for you is for you. So because I live such a beautiful life, I want you all to stick with me. I promise that the next few shows are going to be phenomenal, and tonight, if you stick with Listen Vision Live, WLVS, at 9 o'clock, K. Lowry Moore will come on. And at 10 o'clock, my crew, my home girl, and my handsome guy at 10 o'clock, Sanjo and Mutariq, will be on with I Now Pronounce You Single Happy. And following me at 5 o'clock is Rebecca Kisson. Kassoon, thank you, because I knew I was going to mess up her name. She told me how to say it last week, so I apologize, Rebecca. But she will be on at 5 o'clock. So from me, B. Swangin Webster, I'm living the beautiful life. I am ready to turn it over to Miss Rebecca. And from me to you, I want to wish you happy holidays, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you're feeling real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all, that's all I need. What a beautiful life. All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Happiness, you know, it feels real good, y'all. For us to get it, then we gotta work hard, y'all. Every day. And don't pay attention to the things they say when they tell you that you can't make it, but you can if you try, y'all. When life is rough, I know sometimes you wanna cry, y'all. Just keep the faith and don't question. Ain't no need of stressing. Your life is still a blessing.
About the cars, the money, or the clothes.
You can believe these things will only come and go, but when you're getting real love from everyone you meet, it's a blessing, y'all. It's magic, y'all.
What a beautiful life.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. And now we all been blessed to be here, so it ain't no need for stress. We don't worry about the things that we can't control. We just pray and hope for the best. You don't need a whole lot of money. You don't need no fancy car. You ain't gotta be famous or a movie star. Just be happy with who you are. You got some food on the table and a place to live, and that's a beautiful life. You got somebody you can love, family and some kids, and that's a beautiful life. You got money in your pocket just to pay your bills, and that's a beautiful life. Just to make it through the struggle and you still be here. Now that's a beautiful life.
Okay, wind me up. DC, stand up. The Godfather. I got you. You spoiling me now. 6 years later, still the talk of the town. I put myself on, and then I put my team on too. Take on my BET. I spilled my drink on hold. Still I believe that, and I mean that. There will be no flow if you ain't sing that tune. We see police run joke. You put DC on first. I put us all on next, and now it's all on me to keep your name on deck. Okay, the Godfather. Gotta know that it's not a problem. Been in the pocket like hot tires of Saviata. Praying for a better manana. I hope I'm making you proud. I'ma rep you in honor. Irrefutable spirit. How your music get nearest. When I got that award, it felt like you got this shit with me. Ha, life's good.